What's up, guys? Today I'm going to talk about gratitude journaling. Now, I know that journals aren't the manliest thing in the world to talk about, but gratitude journaling, in my experience, has been an incredible way to boost my productivity and my mood in general. And since it only takes 3 to 5 minutes a day, it has an incredible return on investment. At its most basic level, gratitude journaling is simply writing down things that you're thankful for, things that you appreciate, and things that you see value in throughout the day. So there's no right or wrong way to do gratitude journaling, but I'll tell you some of the things that I do that I've found to be useful. The first thing is I have 5 sections in my journal. I have like my daily journal, reading journal, creative, goals and aspirations, and then I have my gratitudes. I like to keep it separate so that I can refer back to it, and I'm just kind of crazy about ordering things. So if it's all mixed together, it just stresses me out. So one thing that I do is keep it separate in my journal. I also recommend doing gratitude journaling in the evenings, because when you do it before going to bed, then while you're sleeping, it kind of cements those gratitudes in your mind and it helps you to appreciate things more the next day. Also, I like to do that because throughout the day, I'll see things that I want to add to my gratitude journal, and then I just kind of wrap up the day with journaling in the evening. And this takes maybe 3 to 5 minutes. I don't spend a lot of time on it. But what's really important is to schedule time to do this. So whether it's right before you go to sleep or right after you get out of the shower, tie it to something in a way that you've scheduled it so that you'll do this on a regular basis. You don't necessarily have to do it every day, but do it regularly so that you get into the habit of seeing the world in a positive way. Okay, so let's do a quick exercise. Take about 10 seconds and scan the room you're in for anything that's red. Just look around for anything that's red, and while you're doing that, I'll shamelessly plug my channel. By the way, guys, I post videos 5 to 6 days a week on the topics of leadership, productivity, effectiveness, and personal growth, like this video. If you're into that sort of thing, consider subscribing so you can get more content like this. Now, you've searched the room for red objects. What I'd like to do now is, without looking around, list in your mind all of the blue objects in the room. That's pretty hard to do, isn't it? Since you were looking for red objects, you completely looked past all of the blue objects in the room. When we're looking for one thing in the world, it's very easy to overlook everything else. Our brain is naturally designed to keep us alive. It just naturally scans for danger in our environment. Now, in today's world, our brains search for other things, like annoyances, like the guy in the restaurant that's letting his kids run around wild, or injustice, that guy that cut you off in traffic this morning. Or rudeness, the lady that cuts past you in the coffee shop without saying anything. These things build up throughout the day and generate stress and anxiety. Our goal should be to reverse this and see the world in a positive light and be able to look past those negative things, or even just miss them entirely because we're too busy looking at the positive. So instead of looking for the red and missing the blue, we're looking for the blue and missing the red. When I first started gratitude journaling, my goal was to write down 3 to 5 things a day that I appreciated. And initially that was pretty easy to do. I didn't have much trouble just coming up with things. But over time, maybe 2 weeks in, I started running out of things that I could just write down. Generic things that I could write down that had kind of been saved up over time. So when you start to run out, you start to have to look for things during the day that you appreciate. And that causes you to change your entire paradigm to where you're looking for positive instead of looking for negative, which is our natural tendency. So this trains us to start looking for the good things, which is the true power of gratitude journaling. And the world has enough people walking around pissed off all the time. So I take a lot of notes in meetings. I've done this for a long time, and it's because what I've realized over time is that by taking notes in meetings, I retain the information much better. Now, I don't take notes because I'm going to catalog them and review them later, or because I'm collecting notes for some reason. In fact, for the longest time, I would take very verbose notes in meetings, and then on the way out the door, I'd just throw them away. Because I wasn't saving them to review them. The power of writing it down was in writing it down, not saving the notes. Now, I stopped throwing them away as I left the meeting because I realized that looked a certain way to other people, and so I started collecting them, and then on Friday when I clean up my desk before the weekend, I'll throw them all out. But anyway, the moral of the story is you need to write down your gratitudes. You can't just think of them before you fall asleep. You need to actually physically write them down because it helps to cement that gratitude in your mind. So the last thing I want to say is when you're writing down your gratitudes, try to visualize what you appreciate. So don't just scribble them down and close your journal and go to bed. Write something down and take a short moment to visualize that thing and why you appreciate it. This is going to really help you to make that thought permanent in your mind. If you're watching these videos, chances are you're a high achiever, or you're working hard to realize a vision for your life. That's great, but the trouble with people like that is that you tend to have a very high standard for yourself. You tend to be hard on yourself. Doing these gratitudes each night will help you to stay centered while you're working so hard to dominate life. I definitely recommend you try this out. Grab a journal. It doesn't really matter what kind. This one, I really like Moleskine journals. I'm kind of a journal snob. They're a little bit pricey, but I'll put a link in the description below if you want to pick one of these up or look at them. That's where I'm going to end it for today, guys. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like what I'm doing here, hit the subscribe button so you can get more content like this. And I'll see you tomorrow.